Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today, gentlemen of the press. My name is Amelie Kangana, and I'm the country manager for Young Educators Foundation, organizers of the National Spelling Bee. So this is our 5th year. We've been in operation since 2014, and the past 5 years, they normally say that a company that's on stage through to the 5th year, there's hope for the future, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I think we've done well, still here after 5 years. It's been an amazing experience. This year, from the moment that we started, we've always done something better and looked to improve. So this year, definitely, we're going to improve on what was done last year and what has been done in the last 5 years. We normally have the kids, schools register. After registration, we would have a training for the teachers. That is what's different between our own spelling bee and, the rest of the spelling bees in the country. So we train the teachers who then go back to train the kids. And, every school is expected to have their own in-house spelling bee competition where the best is selected to represent the school at our state finals. We just concluded the state finals. My boss just said about 13 states participated or is participating this year. Lagos was the last state finals that we just did on Saturday. And right now we're preparing for the national finals. This year we have about 32 finalists from across the country that will be coming together to compete for, the Star Prize, to be a guest at the 92nd Scripps Spelling Bee in Washington, D.C. come May next month. So our national final is not just a final competition. The idea that we have is we believe that learning is, should go beyond the classroom. And so we foster learning through extracurricular activities. So for us, we normally camp the kids for about 4 days. We bring them together, put them in a minimum of a 4-star hotel. This year, we're going to be camping them at Pearlwood Hotel, which is at Agidingbi, yes. And it's a beautiful place if you've not been there. So we're excited to host our finalists, 32 of them, from 13 states in the country. We're excited to host them, and we have, a lineup of activities for them where they will be learning leading up to the national final on May 2nd. Part of the things that we have planned for them is a mentorship session where we have people who the kids look up to, come talk to them. In the past, we've had a CNN, journalist come talk to them. We've had an ex-beauty queen, because we're not ignorant of the fact that this generation is really about entertainment. So we try to cover all grounds, people from all walks of life that inspire the kids. So this year we're going to have the mentorship session, and then we're partnering as well with Studio 24 and Canon to teach the kids a bit of photography. So that's also something that we're going to be doing, and our partners have told us they're ready for the children, and it's really going to be an exciting time for them. We also have lined up fun learning. We're also going to, inculcate this year. We're engaging a strategic management company that focuses on teaching specific values through fun learning tools, Metamorphosis, and they're also going to be there to teach the children the values that we would like to impact in them. So yes, it's going to be a great 4 days for the children. For us, the biggest testimony for us is that most of the kids always come back, so they have such a great time that they always come back. So a good percentage of the finalists this year are people who have been a part of the competition before and didn't make it or didn't win the competition. So they go back, they work harder, and they come back, and we're proud that, they make it to the final again. What else? In the past, since we started, we've never had a male champion, so we're looking forward to some sort of competition this year. I don't know why the boys, gentlemen.
It's a woman's world.
It's a woman's world, okay. Not from me. You guys have acknowledged that it's a woman's world. But from the beginning, we've only had female winners. So in the past, we've had 4 female champions. This is our 5th year. We're hoping to see if something different would happen, or if, it would just be another female. And I've joked with the children to say that after this year, if a girl wins, we're going to change the name of the competition to the female spelling bee competition. And not have the boys participate at all. Of course, that's a joke. But we're excited really about this year. We have great plans for the kids during camp. We're grateful as well to our sponsors. Would you like to talk about that? Okay.
All right, thank you so much, Andy. In the last 5 years, we've had to grapple with the issues of funding. And I also like a situation where we make it clear that we are appealing to brands to actually support educational programs. In the last couple of years, we've had extreme challenge. But for this year, we're grateful to Indomie Noodles, who actually came to our aid to support this year. And they're actually acquiring the right for the spelling bee competition, and going forward, the spelling bee is going to be known and tagged as the Indomie Noodles Spelling Bee competition. So for this year, we're grateful to the brand for coming on board, and I'm very sure we'll be unveiling that in due season. And as the country manager has rightly said, we have a lot of programs lined up to be for the children when they come for the National Spelling Bee Camp. The camp was created to be able to pass the relevant values that we are looking at giving to the children, because we realize on the continent that one of the major challenges we face is leadership, and leadership and communication goes hand in hand. And we're gradually seeing a situation on the continent where there's been draft of great speakers and orators amongst our leaders, and we want to bring back this culture where we have inspirational leadership, where when we have leaders stand to talk, they really inspire followership in such a manner that brings about development of the nation. So we are engaging some strategic companies that will come on board to actually work with the children for these 4 days. Amongst them is Studio 24, Canon, Metamorphosis, a strategic management company. And in the midst of it all, our sponsors, Indomie, has made it very, very, very conducive for the children, because they'll be providing meals and all sorts of gifts items for the children, just like we had with the Big Brother program. This is our own Big Brother, and we want to make it as big. And for this year also, permit me to say that we'll be having a 13 weeks televised episodes. We'll be broadcasting this year's program because we felt, okay, it's ideal that what we've been doing the last 4 years, people at home are not actually following, because we don't have a TV program to showcase it. So for this season, we had gone the extra length to create a 13-episode program out of the Bee. So we shall be viewing the Bee this year on television. Thank you. We had actually written to the Federal Ministry of Education. We actually traveled down to have a meeting with the director in charge of education. They met with us, and well, they said they will get back to us. They haven't gotten back to us, and we can't, because this is a dream and vision for us, and we are very particular about the impact of our program on the children. So if the government is willing to work with us, we are more than open. And as for the Lagos State Ministry as well, we were at the ministry about 4 years ago, where we met with the permanent secretary, and then we introduced what we're doing to them. As a matter of fact, we volunteered to train teachers across the 57 LCDAs in the state, because we're not just running the program just for the sake of having a competition or just for the sake of raising winners. We're actually using it as a platform to pass relevant developmental ideals in the society. So we felt the teachers are a very integral part of that. So that's why annually we do not host this competition without a training session. We always ensure that we bring in trainers from Ghana, from locally as well, those that have been certified in the Scripps format, to actually train teachers that will be participating in the year's program so that they can understand clearly, or we always tell them that participation is not just for you to win, it's for you to go home with the values that the Scripps, that the Spelling Bee brings to the table.
We also want to teach them the value of experience. You know, the fact that there's some things that you learn from experience that nobody else can teach you. And we've seen that, you know, play out over and over and over again. So it's actually working. The children are learning that, yes, they might be, you know, disappointed the first time when they don't make it, they cry, but they come back 1 year after, different people. You see that they have grown in character, they're more mature. They almost seem, you know, 10 years older. But that is what we're trying to teach them. To fail early, learn that failure doesn't define you, it's an event. You learn from your mistakes and you come back, and also the value of experience. You know, that of course, the things you pick up during the way, experiencing something, it's invaluable.
There are schools at the suburb that incidentally will do very well if they are given a chance to come up, get to know the platform and come into the competition. So please, can you just let us know what platform are there for the registration, and how do you, is it that you write to schools, is it publicized somewhere or something?
On social media, we do radio ads, we do print, we put out adverts in newspapers as well. We've not been able to afford TV ads, but hopefully we will be able to, possibly from next year. We're very hopeful that, we crossed the 5-year mark, so yes, more doors will open. But so we do that registration for about 3 months. So social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all our handles at Spelling Bee Niger, you know, we run that consistently. So from June through to about September, we would have registration ongoing at that point. And after that, registration ends, then we have the training for the teachers. Because for us, spelling is not about cramming words and just, coming to spell. We don't want children reading dictionaries. No, we want them, there is a science to spelling, and that's why we teach the teachers as well. There's a science to spelling. It's like a mathematical formula, and if you can apply it, you can pretty much spell any word without never even hearing a word for the first time, and you'll be able to attempt it, really. So registration is really, for us, it's always intense. 3 months period, a lot of publicity on social media, radio, and the newspaper ads.
Some schools have tried playing the smart one. But you see, one of the most important things is, if you eventually win this program, you would have to travel with your international passport, with your real age. And we don't have the luxury of time. As a matter of fact, every year, the American Embassy usually gives us an emergency interview date. because our national finals is always too late to get the regular interview date. So, and we don't usually say, okay, the criteria for applying for this competition is you should have an international passport. We are mindful of the fact that there are parents, that there are students that are indigent. We've had about two winners whose parents are quite, who were from humble background, and we had to do the passport for them within days, and at the same time apply for the visa. So what I'm trying to say is this: if you lie, we will get to know, because you will bring in your birth certificate at that point. But we try to give the schools the benefit of the doubt that they won't violate what we're doing, because what values would you be teaching the children at the end of the day if you have to lie as regards the age? But we will always get to know if it happens. There was a time we saw some children that obviously looked beyond those age, and we queried it. But those were at the state level. We usually get all this at the state level before it gets to the national camp. So at the state level, when we are registering to host the competition from state to state, we occasionally come across one or two that's, how old are you? And we get to hear, oh, I'm 13 plus, or I'm going to be 14. And like, no, you do not qualify. So at that level, we do not allow such students to participate at the competition. Thank you. Any more questions? No, as long as it's not 14. By May ending of the competition year. Our competition year actually, because the script spelling bee annually is fixed for the last week of May to the first week of June every year. So our own competition in Nigeria also is fixed for the last week of April to the first week of May. So that immediately we get our winner on May 2nd next week. We'll be applying for the visa immediately, so that they'll be ready to travel out of the country latest by May 25, 26 thereabout.
On behalf of the Young Educators Foundation, I wanted to be sure I just get their checks. I don't. I want to appeal to us that if it's a Big Brother reality show, definitely they don't even do press conferences at venues like this. Maybe they use a hotel, because we have a problem in our society. Things that will build us in future, things that will make us a great nation. The corporate bodies are not looking at it. They are more particular about the crowd, which is the audience that the president called lazy. That's where they belong. And I got interested in this. Over 4 years now, I've been observing them from afar, what they are doing. Every year, this man, he will soon get thin now. This one that is looking like it's okay. It will be slimmer than this very soon. By the time the main double wahala starts, you know. So I want us to see this as our own give back to society. Let us encourage this initiative. It's something that will help the nation eventually, because for the first time, we are doing something from the grassroots and see it through up to international level. I want to make instead of me to say thank you for coming, I'm appealing that any other way we can support this noble idea, please, we need your support beyond this one. Indomie has been encouraging, and we are hopeful that they will do the needful. We are just hopeful that they will do the needful, and other corporate bodies too will join. I thank you for this, despite the short notice, for coming around. I thank you very much, and I know that God who brought you here safely will take you home back safely. Thank you very much. Thank you.
My name is Akinleye Olu Phillips. I'm the Executive Director, Young Educators Foundation, Nigeria.
Okay. Before I ask you questions relating to the competition, I would like to know, let's look at the education sector in Nigeria when it has to do with the primary education. What do you think the government needs to do? What are the challenges facing the sector that you think should be addressed?
Oh, thank you very much for the question. See, for me, it's simple. We need to do a thorough overhaul of our curriculum. It's not meeting up with the 21st century, the digital age we are in right now. The same thing the same curriculum that was used when I was in primary school in 1974, 75, 76 is what's being used in 2018. It should not be so. For me, I think we should go back and see clearly how we can overhaul our school curriculum to meet with the expectations and the standards of the 21st century. Because sit still as I instill style of teaching is archaic for this age. Our children are so dynamic from a very tender age. So we needed to look at means and ways to communicate with them so that they can grow and develop to be able to meet up with the global standard that we find ourselves now.
All right, so let's talk about the competition. What actually prompted, what's the idea behind the competition?
Okay, really, my passion has been for leadership and communication, and I have a communication background. And I've always looked at our society and the way it's evolving. I come to realize that we need to do more about how we communicate as a people. You know, our leaders are trying their best, but many times, because they do not understand the concept of communication, we always have issue understanding them and what they're doing. All we keep hearing is that the leader is trying to change the society, he's doing his best, but many times these best are not articulately communicated. So for me, I felt, what can we do to address this? And we realized that the fault is always from a very tender age. Maybe we should go down low and start from there. So that's why we felt, okay, I've always said, okay, I would like to have a non-governmental organization where I can use in passing on this information. And that's why we started with this organization. And the competition is actually a medium of expression of our vision. And that's why we have two programs actually. We have the Africa Young Orators and we have the Spelling Bee. The Young Orators, we are the franchise holder of the International Public Speaking Competition in the UK, where our winner goes to represent Nigeria every year. But we've not been able to participate in the UK in the last 2 years that we had a franchise. I'm hoping this year our winner will not have issues with visa. Last year they had an issue with visa, so we couldn't participate. I just had to go in there alone. But I'm hoping we'll have that this year. So that's what led to us having this organization. And those two programs, if you observe, you know, Spelling Bee is about communications and oratory skills also is about communication. But within both, we teach leadership. As of 2 months ago, I didn't know how we were going to do it. You know, we always use personal funds to run. And but recently, Indomie Noodles came on board and told us, we've been observing you, we like what you're doing. So we're going to come with you this year on a test run because we want to acquire the rights to running the program annually. So for this year, we're running with Indomie as our title sponsor. So it's going to be called Indomie Spelling Bee this year. And much more than that, this year we will be having a television series out of the program because we've moved from state to state. And as we're moving around, we had a professional production company that moves with us, and we documented all this, which we're going to edit into a 13 weeks series that will be broadcast later in the year. So that's the icing on the cake for this year. I would want to advise parents to try as much as possible to open their hearts, their minds, and their ears to their children. Many times we open our ears, but it doesn't go straight into our minds, and it doesn't really touch our heart. If we are open to them, we'll be able to guide them right. You know, guiding is different from you showing, instilling discipline. Most parents, we're too focused on what we want to say, but we don't always focus on the children to be able to know how they're going to hear what we're passing to them. It's very key, so that when you're communicating with your children, they're actually hearing you. You're not just speaking, you're actually communicating. It's a two-way thing. So parents, please, let's endeavor to be a bit more patient with our children. encourage them to ask us questions, critical questions about life and about development. And I believe we'll have a better society by that. Thank you very much.
Young Educators Foundation is an NGO that is focused on raising the next generation of African leaders. And we know that education is beyond the four walls of the classroom, and we try to do that through extracurricular activities. So we currently have 2 programs that we run: the Spelling Bee for children aged 8 to 13 and African Young Orators for teenagers and young adults. So for teenagers, I don't know if teenagers are children, teenagers from the age of 15 to 20. Yeah, that African Young Orators. So we're here because of the Spelling Bee. The Spelling Bee competition is modeled after the Scripps National Spelling Bee in Washington, D.C., United States of America. Our organization has the franchise for Nigeria, and we run every part of the competition after the Scripps Spelling Bee competition in America. So our program is tailored to pretty much build the confidence of children, because as opposed to other spelling bees, for our spelling bee, the children face the audience and the judges. So they're facing the judges and then they're facing the audience. So they are standing just like I'm standing right now, and now I have a good idea of how the children feel because the lights are on me and I'm in front of like 6 cameras, and that's how it is with them. So we've had children who, at their first try, we've had a child who peed on stage his first time, but he went on to making it to the national finals. So we see that over and over again, and that for us is the biggest encouragement, beyond any form of sponsorship or anything, is when we see our vision being, when we see our vision come alive in these children. For us, that's the biggest fulfillment that we could ever, hope for. We would like to first say thank you to every school that has been a part of this program and every parent whose child has participated in the competition. We're grateful. Thank you very much. And I mean, as we go on this year and in the future, we would just like to encourage parents to just, continue being there for these kids, continue, to listen to them, continue to study with them, continue to support them with your presence. I mean, I would definitely want to commend parents. We've had parents whose kids are from states like, Rivers, Port Harcourt, and they fly in to just come to Lagos and show support for their kids at the national final. Trust me, it goes a long way. The children do not forget. And I mean, we just want to say thank you. Yeah, thank you.